everyone. Yeah, I know this chapter's late, but truthfully, I kind of had to mull and stew on this chapter a bit because when I initially read this chapter, I hated it, and but the more I read, the more I understood what was going on. But in doing so, I still kind of think the pacing of this chapter is atrocious. But okay, let's just get into the chapter itself, which is to say that this, speaking up from last week, this chapter kind of sees like Rebecca and the chronophage kind of merge. And at first I was like, wait, what's going on here? But then I upon but then upon rereading it several times, a light bulb clicked in me that what's going on in this chapter and what we're seeing the like universes and the timelines merge now, like with Mother pretty much like back in her original form as a planet. I think we are beginning to see like all the timelines, all the universes, all the different versions of these characters just kind of merge into one at this point. And unfortunately, that also meant that the chronophage herself, being a version of Rebecca, has now merged with pretty much our with pretty much our version our version of Rebecca as well, from my understanding. So yeah, it's like it's everything's kind of like merging into one now, but unfortunately that's also causing like what's the current circumstances we know them, unfortunately. um and and of course all culminating in the final where in the final page where supposedly we see where Shiki has supposedly returned finally. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that final page is one of those things where my hang up with the pacing of this chapter really starts to come into play, because I liked his return, but it's like it feels like we needed some more context there of like, okay, how's he coming? Like I know, again, with the idea that they're kind of with the universes all kind of merging, it understands, but it's like we still needed. I get it, but we still needed a few more connective pieces, I feel, with this chapter, which again it kind of falls into the thing where it's like I feel like this chapter needed just a few more pages too, like just a few more pages, a few bits of connective tissue, that kind of thing. But as again, as a whole, I still really like what this chapter does and what we're seeing with it. Um, and yeah, and obviously we see, and yeah, obviously see that like the end with Shiki saying, "I'm sorry I didn't see it. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I'm sorry I didn't see that the chronophage was you." Like, motherfucker, I was I kind of get for story purposes in a way, but it's also like, motherfucker, you didn't recognize the sigils on the leg, like that should have been the first thing you noticed. Just saying. um, but that's neither here or there, I guess. And yeah, as I guess to talk a little bit about the chronophage, though, we do get a little bit more of like Rebecca as the chronophage's inner thoughts, and see that yeah, the moment that this version of Rebecca had become the chronophage, it's like she couldn't remember anything about herself. She just kept consuming worlds again and again and again in the hopes that she would that she would regain some portion of her memories. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that that actually does add a very tragic layer to something we just considered to be a force of nature, that I considered to be just like a demon or a force of nature. Like, it is, with the knowledge that it is Rebecca, it's like, yeah, she suffered for like God knows how long, consuming many different worlds, just trying to regain herself, regain her memory. It's like until until eventually she just kind of became what Shiki had faced within the chronophage itself. So yeah, it's kind of intriguingly tragic in that regard. Now, and yeah, and now it's just going to be about getting Rebecca to come back to her senses, now that the two versions of herself, I guess, have merged together. And yeah, I'll with and yeah with that said, it'll be curious this with and I think with that said, it's going to be curious to see how. Again, I've said this already, but I'll be curious to see how this plays out with us only having like with I think it's 3 chapters now at this point. Like, there's I think like just the idea of Rebecca being like the final threat, the final obstacle to truly in order to truly bring balance back to the universe. It's like that is kind of a nice twist. I'm not gonna lie. Like her powers have always kind of been an overarching thing in her powers, and them going out of control has always been an overarching thing in this story. So it's like them going out of whack. Yeah, it does kind of fit as like a final, as a climax, as a finale kind of thing. It does make me wonder though how Horikoshi is going to resolve this though is my big question. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Control. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight, signing off. Later, everyone.